the back of my mind, there's a memory. You were holding my hand tight, kissing on a moonlit street. And I've been missing you since then. Yeah, I still smell you on my sheets. Loving you is sweet, sweetheart. Losing you is killing me. Baby, I can't breathe. Baby, I can't breathe. I remember your eyes like a warm sunset, rolling on my king-size bed. Moments that I can't forget. And I've been missing you since then. Yeah, I still smell you on my sheets. Loving you is sweet, sweetheart. Losing you is killing me. Baby, I can't breathe. Honey, I'm on my knees. Baby, can you hear me? Honey, you're all I need. Baby, I can't breathe. Baby, I can't breathe. Don't you wanna be free like a waterfall, flowing on the riverside, places you don't have to hide. Sometimes you're alone, there's no one to turn to, feeling you be left outside, struggle with a heavy mind. Just breathe in life and light it up. Pray for those who lost it all. Yeah, you know we are one alliance. Why going back to nowhere? We played a game, we kind of lost it. We cannot change going under. The road leads back to nowhere. Don't you wanna be free like a waterfall, flowing on the riverside, places you don't have to hide. Someday you find love, somebody to run to, walking by the ocean side, meet you at the mountain night. Just breathe in life and light it up. Pray for those who lost it all. Yeah, you know we are one alliance. Why going back to nowhere?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Team Remote Duels presents our Yu-Gi-Oh podcast episode number 4. Yes, we have made it to episode number 4. So I hope you guys enjoy the stream. If you guys are in stream, drop a like, drop a follow. It costs absolutely nothing. Just say where you are from and we will actually just pick up on everything, so if you guys have something that you want us to discuss on stream, give us a little shout on stream. It's not a big problem. We will actually chat about it. So today, as usual, we are joined by Kyle, which is Talesman, Cabbage, which is Mac, Lord Grim, the usuals, Ahmad, and then we've got a special guest today on stream. Our special guest today is our Moonsong. Okay, our special guest is called Rob, so you will hear from him today, and hopefully he's got a lot of insight for us on his knowledge from Yu-Gi-Oh and everything that Kyle wants to tackle him on. But with no other interruptions and all further ado, I will hand it over to Kyle that will take over the stream. And guys, again, if you are on stream at the moment or watching from anywhere in the world, drop us a comment in the chat or just to say hi even. And as we go along, drop a comment and we will actually get to it. And click the follow button. It's absolutely free. I don't charge you money for it. It is free. I might be South African, but I'm not going to ask you money for it. It's absolutely free. We are currently on about 60 followers. Let's get that 60 to 70. So click that follow button. Again, it doesn't cost you a single penny. Without further ado, here is Kyle and the boys.
Good evening all. Welcome back to another episode of the Remote Duels podcast. We are joined, as usual, by the Assaulted Hooligans. We've got Mac.
Howdy.
We have Achis, who is not gracing us with his beautiful face this evening.
We will be graceful. Hello, everyone.
Welcome.
As always, we are hosted by the fantastic Yusri.
Yeah, we are here.
I'm still waiting for him to send me the rental bill for the, time I've spent on his Twitch. I'm scared.
You have solar, we don't. Quiet.
And we are joined by the inimitable, unapproachable Rob.
Okay,
How are you doing, Rob?
Don't put it on that. That's high. How you guys doing?
We're good, man. We're good.
Get it out, man.
Really good to have you on the podcast, man.
Thank you. I'm really honored to be here. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, don't worry. You're also getting your share of the bill at the end of the month. I'm a teacher.
God.
It's not gonna be that much. Don't worry.
Are you sure? It doesn't sound like it.
All right. So I've got a couple of things I want us to go through tonight. For those of you listening, please ignore the sudden onset rainstorm that's apparently started promptly with the podcast. It happens, that's part of being in South Africa. All right, so what I want to talk to you about
Pretty
tonight,
weather, yeah.
Yeah, right. We were joined last week by Chaden, who spoke to us about the process of being a vendor in the Yu-Gi-Oh market in South Africa. Now, Rob has an entirely different perspective as a player in a pretty competitive scene and pretty high up. He's in charge of Stone Dragon every week, and he's been going to Nexus regularly for how long? He's plays the game, I want to say, as high as one can in South Africa. Am I wrong?
A bit too much sometimes. I think sometimes I can turn it down.
I don't think there's a term like too much. At some point, like yeah. At some point, you do want to tone it down a little bit, but I don't think there's too much.
I mean, I guess the Gishki FTK was like a phase.
Yeah.
Oh my word!
The Gishki FTK was amazing. I gotta say, it was one of the best decks I've ever played against because it was so fun.
We will
I'm getting back into that, by the way.
Oh no!
No.
It's like the experience you get dueling against Rob. You don't mind losing because it's that beautiful.
Always a ride, hey? Rob and I have had a couple of
Except
games.
when he complains about floodgates, guys.
Oh
That's
yeah.
our issue.
Oh no, I've got Jesus. Yeah, I've had my bad moments. Let's we all have.
He
I'll
gives you
keep
shit
adding
about
that.
floodgates, but then he plays anti-spell in the same game.
Oh yeah, of course. Those can die. It's okay. I play purely, so I can't play anti-spell.
Yeah, well, you can't play D-Barrier though, can you?
True. Yeah. No. That's going too far. You know.
I mean, your try-hard last time had me reconsidering my entire life.
Oh jeez. Oh yeah.
Was a good game.
Don't even remind me.
Alright, so one of the things I wanted to start us talking about, last week we were talking to Chaden again as a vendor, and he said that in his opinion, the Rarity Collection has destroyed the TCG's singles market, where everything had kind of an established price, we had the buyers, we had the sellers, we knew where everything was, but with the release of the Rarity Collection, everything has kind of been tipped on its side, with prices falling apart everywhere, people, you know. Now, we had to kind of end off, but what I wanted to talk to, and I think a lot of you can give me some cool insight, is I think that the reason we've got this problem is the TCG's own fault.
Yeah. Okay. Just before we continue, on that, Happy Feet. Thank you for the follow. We are currently on 61. Let's get that 61 to 70. Thank you for the follow. I hope you enjoy the stream. Also, here is someone with echo on their mic or on their earphones. There's some echo.
That might be me, actually. Is it me?
Might be me.
It's probably me. You can just check, because I know I tend to have a problem with echoing. But
It's only when Kyle talks.
Let me see.
Peace, Kyle.
Okay, now.
Essentially me.
Okay, no, but it's all good. It's not as bad, but just so that you guys are aware. But yeah. So yeah, continue. Sorry.
All right.
Yes,
So I'm just gonna quickly leave and answer for a second, just in case.
So I think the question was that.
So yeah, about the Rarity Collection.
Yeah, about the Rarity Collection, how it impacted the market and obviously destroyed the market, and stuff, right? So for me personally, like I said last week as well, I think it's more the fact that it made it more accessible for new players to come into the game without having to go, oh, I need to spend 500 Rand on one staple card.
Yeah.
Like we brought this up last week as well, where we said a couple of months ago, Ash Blossom was still like $30 a copy.
Yeah.
Right?
There were even some commons you could find for like a good $8 or something.
Yeah, $8 to $10, but now it's all the way down to like $1, $2, because it's been reprinted so many times that it's become a thing where you can't really say, oh, but I can't find staples because it's expensive.
Yeah.
You know, so in the case of it destroying the market, I'm more yay and nay.
So, I mean, a lot of people don't like. I know vendors have a real problem with this, right? Because a lot of vendors are like, this is the big issue. But if you look at the history of Yu-Gi-Oh, back in October 11th of 2019 was the release date of Duel Devastator.
Yes.
Which was probably one of the best boxes that's been released in Yu-Gi-Oh since, I would say, this set now for the new player community. And yes, it's an issue for these collectors, but you gotta or these vendors, but you gotta recognize that a lot of these staples have been out for like some time, some of them 2, maybe even 3 years.
Yeah.
And the fact that some of them have had such little reprint, it's kind of like the end of a Yu-Gi-Oh season now. Yeah. Whereas the season started in 2020, like the brand new season. Because, I mean, the last time the new season happened, Lynx was introduced, right? Yes. So now there's a new season, and now we're actually coming full circle, starting a new season again, which was what I believe Age of Overlord was, I think. So Age of Overlord was the first of a brand new season of, like, Yu-Gi-Oh!
100%.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Has spaces of, like, 3 years, right?
100%.
So, I think
that, Rob, do you think that they will be relatively quickly power creeping all of our old hand traps and whatnot to the point where only the new stuff is relevant?
So there is power creep, right? Power creep is definitely the point that could happen, but I also believe there's this thing in Yu-Gi-Oh that people don't speak about, which I've dubbed to be power rotation, where they will rotate a format in such a way where certain decks become powerful, which makes certain hand traps, certain cards, certain board breakers more powerful and more expensive, right? But because that happens, it will come in a circle where a lot of cards will lose value and a lot of the cards will gain value. So I think what Konami is trying to do now is they're trying to find a way for the game to rotate these kind of old staples out of the format, and I feel like they're only going to come in later. So watch, this is usually what they like to do, is they will sell this big set now. Yes, everyone's going to be complaining, but I promise you, watch 2 years down the line, people are going to be wondering how the hell do we get all of these things that were in Rarity Collection. It's so hard to find once again, right? And it's going to be expensive once again because it's going to come back into the format. Like when you see the pattern of Yu-Gi-Oh, and that's usually what I see is happening.
Question for Rob. With the fact of you playing, let's say on the very highest level, as Kyle has mentioned, how do you prepare now that everybody and their mother has got a part of prosperity to whereas your prep was is your prep a little different, number one? To where you didn't have to expect a pot out of everybody because you know your average players, you know your top players, to now where you have to kind of expect pot everywhere, or did you just prep anyway for the powerful cards?
I think, look, I think once you start playing at like a really high level, every time you play, you always expect your opponent to make the best move. And every time they don't, you like when you get into it, every time they don't, it surprises you, and you're like, I should have lost there, right? So like, there's been times where I like play a game and I'm like, if this guy nibs me here and it's the correct place to nib me, I lose, and then I don't get nibbed. And then I play into it and I'm like, okay, well, he obviously hasn't got nibbed, and then I get nibbed like 20 summons later, and I'm like, why didn't you nib me back then? So it's
of course.
It's kind of things where I like the fact that actually everyone gets access to these cards, because I'm always an aficionado for new players being able to get the cards that they need, and I love Rarity Collection. I think it's really amazing, and I started in the end of 2015, beginning of 2016, and being able to get a card back then, anything, was like almost impossible. I had only one Ash, I think, until at least 2017, 2018. And 2018, I think.
This reminds me like I think it was almost about 2 years ago when I myself got back into Yu-Gi-Oh! After taking a break from 2005 because of life. And then Ahmad as well also just came back like just after the fast, and we were playing, right, and we were both playing Dragon Link at the time, and he was like, oh no, I need to get a playset of Ash, and Ash is still so expensive. And then I give him this one copy of Ash that I had, and he was playing with it for the longest time. Just playing the one copy of Ash, and it always came up when Brandon became a thing.
I drew that
when Brandon became a thing, right? And we were playing, and everyone was testing out Brandon, and everyone was playing Brandon, and then all of a sudden, every time we play against him, he goes like, Ash. I'm like, how do you keep on drawing the one copy of Ash that you have? How?
It's like playing against Fluanderies, where Shifter is just super glued to your hand.
Yeah, man.
Like, I played against a 52 card deck the other day that loses to draw, and they open the one called by, and I was like, so it kind of wakes you up to those things, and like that's going back to your question. I never underestimate people, like whether they don't have the good cards or not, because I know what it's like to try and make your way with like the stuff that you don't have, you know, like back in 2017 when Zodiac was meta, like it was tier 0 format, you either play Zodiac or you lost, and I was playing Metalfoe Yangzing in back in the day, and I only had like one D barrier, one anti-spell, one maxi, one Ash Blossom, like I was going and a prayer. So in order to make that work, I literally made a combo that allowed me to search any card in my deck going first.
That's really cool.
It was like it's those kind of things where like I understand. I think a lot of players who don't have much have a lot more advantage because they have the capacity to be innovative.
Yeah, they're used to needing to
And I think a lot of people who play meta tend to sometimes limit themselves, and you gotta allow yourself to be creative, you know. And I think, and even I was speaking to, I'm sure you guys run in the community the other day, and I was talking to him, and he was saying like, he can have like the best top tier net decked every card in the game and he can win, but then like someone else, like he said, I could come along and have like not even a full power deck and still do decently. You know, and it's all about skill. I think it's about
the pilot.
It's the more struggle you come from, the stronger you're able to push because you've learned more. You've learned to play with what little you have, you know, and you eventually learn how every resource in the game is important. Like every card is important.
Yeah. Right. That's a really good point, Rob. Really insightful. Okay, moving forward, what I wanted to compare it to, and this is something I have mentioned off streams, most of you. I feel that a lot of the singles. Give me a moment. I'm just going to mute myself here. The echo is problematic.
It is you.
Yes, it is me indeed. I'm still doing it. That is terrible.
That's okay.
Give me my side.
I'm live. We've got the phone. Let's see if I can sort this out. In the interim, I will have to live with the echo. Okay, I feel that. Give us a sec.
I don't hear the echo from my side. So
do you have the stream open somewhere? Because then just mute the volume because that might be it.
I don't think so.
But other than that, it's fine.
Right. Okay, let's try something quickly.
Like, I think if I could say something during the
go for it.
Is that even during the time, a lot of even though like there is a lot of talk about like who the top players are and who like the ones to watch out for, right, in the community, and I still get used to like. I still underestimate myself. I know people are like, oh no, you know, you shouldn't. But like, there's still a lot of times where I don't feel like I'm there, and I think I don't know if it's because I see everyone on an even playing ground, or I feel like at any moment it could be taken away. Because like these days, people get good quick. It's terrifying, you know. There's so many like really good players, and even you guys, I've seen like a lot of you guys play at locals. Like people really get really good, you know. People come up with the most innovative things and will win with like like you came in with that 3 structure decks the other day, and and just like did so well at the tournament. You came in with a chaos board that I was like, whoa, this is the coolest shit ever, right? And I think. I don't think people should see people so highly because like I remember it was Happy Feet who followed us. I used to get so much anxiety when I played against him and I didn't know why, right? Every time I played against him I would feel so much anxiety, and then I found out eventually after we played like a couple games against each other, he finally beat me once. And he said to me, you know, that's the first time I've beaten you, and that's why I've been so anxious the whole time. So actually, I was feeding off his energy.
Yep.
But to me, I'm like, I don't know why he should be anxious. Like, I don't see myself as that sort of fit, you know, and I don't think anyone else should.
So
I think it's better to stay humble though, you know, rather than take yourself too seriously and get demolished.
It's more of like never undermine yourself or never put yourself under any other player. I think that's very important.
So just for the so that we can just catch up here on what is said. So you're in chat.
Just one more throw in. Sorry.
Sure. Go for it.
The pro players, like in the US, they're not as great as you think they are.
Oh no, we've noticed that for so long already, and I've got lots to say about that, but that is for another day. But just in chat quickly,
I came in tier 0 format. That's when I started.
Yeah,
I respect Jesse though.
So that you know, so in chat, with all the stuff that we're talking about, the weird plays and getting good and all of that, then Zane mentioned here that it never happens to him. Now, you need to understand the context behind this. When he says it never happens to him. Now, Zane is one of our players that comes up with the weirdest, most broken stuff ever, most irritating things ever. Although it doesn't win him 90% of the game or of the matches or whatever he plays, but it gets his opponents to go like, okay, what am I supposed to do here now? And that is Zane. You guys might know him from chat or from when you guys will see him in future. Starbreaker 22. If you guys are in stream, follow his Twitch channel. He also streams from time to time. And then also a comment for you, Rob.
Yeah.
From Happy Feet saying, good isn't just about the skill, it's about the consistency and obviously the amount of tops that talks as well. And then
Agreed.
And then straight after that he says, oh man, I love you too, bro. Just for what you said.
All right. Am I better now? Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
You sound
Yes,
better, I think.
I approve.
All right. So, the point I wanted to make was that in the OCG, rarities have never been so clutch, you know?
Yeah.
Anybody could get anything at any time.
Yeah.
So there was no artificial scarcity. So now in the TCG, we've had this really weird scarcity. And why is it still doing that? Whatever, I will live with it for now. I'll fix it in a second.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Fix it in post.
Yeah, so I think what he's trying to say, or I'll try and fill in from what my knowledge is from the OCG, is that every card is available in every rarity, which makes it available for every how can I call this, spend market.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. So you have for instance, what would happen in the TCG if 50 access codes are running around in every single rarity, for instance, right? And what would happen if
SP Little Knight?
SP Little Knight, for instance, like if it is in every single rarity, right? And now that's what's currently happening now with the rarity collection in the TCG, where it's still limited to only 7 rarities, but still you get it in super, you get it in ultra, you get it in secret, so it's more freely available than previous other times. For instance, when you could only get access code in this specific booster, or Baron in only what's it, Duelist, what's it called again? Something legendary Duelist, legendary Duelist Synchro Storm, for instance.
The Synchro Storm, yeah.
and that is now like it's a whole different story. So yeah, it's literally becoming. It's
also remember coming into Yu-Gi-Oh and learning the different power cards and people crying for so long for a Baron reprint, and now they've got 7 of it, and now nobody just really cares, to be honest.
And like 4 months ago, I paid like a freaking grand for 1 Baron, and now I can buy like a box.
Now you can buy a box.
And I'm still sitting with an expensive Baron for no reason.
Yeah.
I mean, it's rough. I think that's why a lot of people choose to get the cards when they come out, is because like it's fear of the market messing with the prices like that, because they never reprint anything immediately, you know. And that's why a lot of people just choose to get the card immediately when it comes out, or when they can, as soon as possible. At least that's what I've seen. And I understand, it's expensive at its first release. But if you think about what that card will do for you and how many tournaments it will top you, you literally make up like the accumulation of all the money you've spent on that card. For example, like even SP Little Knight is already an example of how like power creep and power rotation is a thing. Like that card is one of the defining cards of the format. It makes the link so good.
If we think about pre-release prices on SP, it's like what, $60 to $80, and now it's already $110.
Yeah,
and it's climbing still. It's not stopping to climb. So I don't think SP is going to.
I picked up SP Little Knight for like 750 rand.
That's
Okay, but for the general person.
Yeah, for the general person.
Like SP right now is going close to like 1.5 to 1.8 in South African market.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, and it's gonna climb.
It's where Bastille Rebellion was. I saw the same similar thing.
Don't get me started with Bastille Rebellion, eh?
Oh,
There's like a lot of horror stories about that.
Leave my dear old Bastille Rebellion alone. Leave
But
my
if
dear old
problem
Bastille.
is that for every duelist like Rob who uses SP Little Knight to top 100 tournaments and take it to these great heights, there's 50 players who've bought it, done nothing with it, and wasted their money.
Yeah.
That's true. Because if you
That's
look
the
at
pay
like
to win crowd.
if you look at like how there is like the pay to win crowd, and then there's a crowd who knows what they're doing with what they pay for, and then like if you look at how people are using the card, like it just turns so many. I think one of the strongest things is that, so I was talking about power rotation earlier, and if you look at the format now, everything targets.
Yes.
This is a format where every single thing targets, and SP Little Knight is probably one of the best cards for dodging targeting.
Yeah, because you just chain SP banish.
Like if you look at the best decks of the format, Purely, Unchained, and Rescue Ace. Those are the top 3 decks of the format right now. All of their stuff targets. Rescue Ace, all their traps target. Unchained, all their stuff targets. And then even Purely, Noir targets. So literally the dodging targeting is like the most insane thing. That's why SP Little Knight is so good right now. But as soon as it rotates to a format where it's not as insane, SP Little Knight will kind of
it will come and go. It will come and go. It will come and go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, now to move on.
Konami knows what they're doing.
Before we continue, Kyle. Oh goodness, I just clicked the wrong button.
Okay.
Before we continue, just to catch up on what the chat is saying here. So Jaden says, couldn't miss the stream, so I'm packaging cards while stream is running. Dude, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And then Happy Feet says SP best card. Do agree with that? Do agree with that, Matthew? No, I'm not gonna disagree with you there. And then Jared asked, could SP get banned soon because of how broken it is? I don't think so.
I don't even think it's in the line.
Nah, I don't think so. And Matthew agrees with it. It's not the. I don't think so. And then just before we end off, it says, Jaden says, humor yourself. Ask check Lubellion on troll DABL print.
Oh God.
Let's do it. Okay, so while we are doing this, Rob, talk to me about running Stone Dragon and playing Nexus every week.
My brain is just Yu-Gi-Oh, bro. I eat, sleep, and breathe that thing. I think like in my lifetime I've had, because it was one of the things I started when I was in university, and one of the things I absolutely loved as a kid. So as soon as I got into it, I was like, oh, this is the coolest thing. And then when I found out that Nationals happened, I think my biggest dream is to go to Europe and represent South Africa live on stream and show what we can do. You know, that's what my goal is for Yu-Gi-Oh! Is to go there and bring more notoriety to us. And I think just that has power driven me to just be able to constantly think about it, do it. Even in times where I'm working on other things, you still go back and like, oh, what's that combo?
What's that combo?
This weekend, what card will make it better? You know, so you wake up at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I think the running of the Stone Dragon is just like, I guess, another excuse to go to it. So like,
of course, why not?
Because I think you always have to have like your home base of Yu-Gi-Oh, and for me that is the Nexus Hub. And then Stone Dragon was like an extra startup place that kind of needed help with getting into it, and I was like, you know what, they don't have anyone to run it, so let me go to that. And
So just to follow up on that, one of our players, not too long ago, one of our Cape Town players, Tariq, He actually went to go play. I think it was in Germany, in
Utrecht.
Utrecht, yeah.
The Wijnings Utrecht.
Yeah.
Yes.
He actually went to
I
go
know
play
he's
there.
He met
Yeah.
like Dinka fam and all those guys. He played against Dinka.
He actually played against Dinka, and I think he lost in the top 64, and he was playing Dragon Link.
He was playing Dragon Link. Yeah, I know Tarek. I used to play. I used to play with him when I was in Cape Town.
Yeah, he was playing
that's
Euros.
Where I started,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I was playing Euros, like Matthew was saying. And the thing is, it's not impossible if you literally just put your mind to it, kind of thing. It's really not impossible. Like you saying that you want to go represent and tell and show the people like what it is that we can do and all of those things. So I think if you really put the effort in, then sure. Just before we continue, Flamingo with a flamethrower, thank you for the follow. Hope you enjoyed the chat. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Thanks for joining us. If you've got anything that you want to add onto the stream, drop it in the chat and we'll bring it up obviously as we go along.
I will say one thing is that I think a lot of South African players undermine themselves in comparison to UK and US players.
Of course.
And I think a lot of South African players are better than they think they are.
It's me. You should be saying that for a while.
Overseas.
Thank you for the compliment, Rob.
Yeah,
So guys,
As my Super Saiyan origin story. Rob saying that I'm better than some Europeans.
I just wanted to quickly go back to what Jaden was saying.
I nearly
So,
did a spit
yeah.
take.
On Fallen Sword, the only Bastille Rebellion listing is the Evo merchant listing, which is still $75.
Yeah. That's what Zane also said in chat.
It's about 1,400
It's still $75.
Yeah, but
Bastille
on
Rebellion's
PC player, it's only 15.
Yeah, it's only 15 on
Yeah, but
TCG.
is that the prismatic or is that the double?
The devil.
The double.
That's
That's just the normal dark and glass, the first printing, so to say.
Yeah.
interesting.
All right. So, what is your experience, Rob, of attending two different locals every week? What's the atmosphere difference? How do you approach the mindset of the different events?
For me, I think it depends on where I go and who's going to be there. Because I think a lot of the times you get to figure out like where the newer players are going, where the experienced players are going, right? And I know I do think Nexus probably has some of the most experienced players of the game in Joburg. A lot of people from other places, and this is not to throw shade, but a lot of people from the other stores like don't want to go to Nexus because of the quality of players there, you know.
I'll be taking you to Nexus.
And a lot of the time, like I even like hear people like even there was a time where Quabs was like, oh my god, I could have won my first Nexus locals, right?
Yeah.
That's apparently a thing. And I didn't know this until I heard Quab say it. I was like, that's a thing. And it's because I think the quality of players there are good. Like when I go to Stone Dragon, there's not a lot of like the general good players that like, or I wouldn't say good players, but experienced players there who've been playing for a long time. And a lot of them are new. So you kind of have leeway to fiddle around a little bit, you know? And you can kind of see where you can do your experiments and stuff. And I think locals is a good place to play because there's like at locals, there's two different things, right? There's a big difference between locals and regionals. You'll see if you face me in a regionals, I'm a different person to when you face me in a locals.
Of course.
Like if you make a mistake, you made the mistake.
I'm punishing you I'm punishing you at regionals. If we're playing at regionals, I'm punishing the living crap out of you if you're making a mistake.
In a regional, sorry, you declared the effect. Activate it.
Exactly.
Like it's big, right? These are big things, and you have every right to be like that. It doesn't matter if it's your friend. It doesn't matter if this guy gave you a card before the tournament and now he's helping you out. You know, it doesn't matter. You are there to destroy. It's a regionals. This is a serious competition. Locals is fun, yes.
Between me, myself, and Ahmad, right? Myself and Ahmad, we have this thing all the time at a regionals, a states event, OTS champs. For some reason, we always get paired up with one another in round number 3, round number 4, and then our head judge will always go like, "Ha, family feud. Let's go.
We'll announce it to the whole tournament. Grand Family Feud.
You'll go to a nationals with 110 people, and you'll meet a new guy there that you've never seen before, and you kick it with him like he's your best friend now.
Yeah.
And round one, you two will get paired. I'm telling you, that is exactly what will happen. These people can hear this system hears you so clearly.
But we
I
always
think
have,
it was regionals as well when we went in Cape Town, and we were like, I think 5 or 6 from Somerset West.
Yeah.
And when we get there, like all of us got paired against each other. It was just locals. It felt like locals felt like all of us got paired against each other. It's unlikely. There was like 60 odd players.
yeah.
Like even like talking about things like that, you know, I was looking at like talking about regionals and stuff when I played in the OTS Championship the other day, and I played against a friend of mine, and we knew what decks we were both playing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I went first, and I made Dweller because it kills his deck.
Mm.
And he was like,
It works.
it's a dick
works,
move.
yeah.
I'm like, yes, it's a dick move, but bro, I would expect you to do the same to me.
Mm.
Because this is a competition.
Of course.
I would expect
Yeah.
you to respect me enough to do it. Like I
Yeah,
understand,
100%.
Yeah.
it's like one of those things. And
I'm not
I
going to
know,
give you a nice pass.
I know you. It's kind of like a dick thing. You don't want to do that, but you know, it's at the end of the day, it's you or me.
Yeah, the thing is, I believe that Super Parley should be banned because you cannot respond to it.
Yes.
I believe
This coming from a branded
Yes.
player, by the way.
Yes, yeah, but exactly.
Same here.
Exactly.
Same
Okay.
here. Branded player.
I believe
Same.
that Super Parley should be banned because you can't respond to it. I believe that Dark Ruler No More is very questionable because you can't respond to it. I think cards like D Barrier are very unhealthy for the format because you can't respond to it. But you will see me run that shit at a locals or a tourney because I hate it. But as long as I'm allowed to and it gives me the edge, you know? So I agree. I think it's not like if I'm testing, for example, and I know you're on Sword Soul or Branded, I'm going to do my best to side out my D barriers because it's not fair. But if we're in a regional scenario...
Oh wait, no, if it's a locals, never mind. Yes, I would.
Yeah, look, if it's a locals, right? If it's a locals and you're like, okay, no, it's fine. Like there's so many times when we're playing locals, right? And then I'm being TO for the locals, or I'm being judged for locals, or whatever. Yeah. And then we were like going judge. I'm like, what's the problem? They're like, no, it's fine. You know, it's just it's local, sorted out. You know. But if it's like a OTS champs
Catch
or
me outside. How about that?
yeah,
How about that?
I don't know why. I have this thing. I have this thing when I play locals. It's like I can do this and I will win quicker, but I want to try out this and see where this
like
line
I'll
goes.
give you
I don't
an
know if
example.
everybody has that.
I'll give you an example. About 3 weeks ago, I think it was, Ahmad was playing. I wasn't. I was just there for the vibes, right? I was still busy sorting out my deck and stuff. And I was standing and watching every single match, right? Like I should. And I'm watching every match and I'm just going through everything. And I saw the plays that he could make to win easier, kind of thing. But then he's like, he tells me, I was like, no, I see the plays, I know the plays, but I'm trying something else so that I can learn maybe a new combo line or a different combo line or what I can do in this combo
The
line.
reason why I do that is because what if I can't make that play? And then I need to know another line.
You need to know another line.
You need to know different versatilities of your deck because I'm going to be pushed into that somewhere or
But
another.
then you end up thrusting into Raigeki. What?
I think
I
this
was
is where people
lucky.
fall short, you know,
Yes, right.
because a lot of people don't know, like, this is what you do in testing. Like, testing is like, you sit there, it's not like, oh, I'm going to beat you again and again and again. It's like you sit in the situation and you go back and you try see what are the different points of interaction I could do, or is there a better line of play that I could have done to play through it? You know, and that's I don't think people test enough. Like, they don't literally sit before an event and play against each other. But even in those games, when they're playing against each other, they don't sit there and look at the board and be like, okay, here's my hand. What is probably the best line that I could go for? Or can we take it back and see what a different line would have been? You know? And I don't think people do that enough.
Yeah.
That's why people get stagnant, because it's like, okay, well, this is
They hit a
the only
ceiling.
way I could play. And then they lose and they'll be like, oh, well, there's nothing I could have done. And then it's like, But
It's actually-
if you look back 2 turns ago, if you had just done that one thing, you would have had an extra card and won. You know, like a lot of things.
Yeah, of course.
It's small things. Yeah.
When we had Josh on a couple of weeks ago, and Josh is also plays at quite a competitive level, you know. But he plays at the Warrior. But what I mean is, in terms of skill, he dedicates himself quite a bit to the game, and he spoke to us about the same thing, where if you're not testing enough beforehand, on the day you're not going to see what you want to see. You have to put the effort.
Yeah. I agree. I do agree. Just in comments quickly. So we've got a comment here from Flamingo with a flamethrower. Says, I think they should allow each player a set amount of time to play so that so you can't lose because opponent is slow playing.
Kind of like chess, where you like hit the button
with the clocks. Actually, that's a really interesting idea.
I do agree, actually.
I think that's one of the saltiest things you can get about losing in time. Because it's like Robert's reaction alone says everything.
He plays D-Link. You're offending his culture. You're being racist.
Playing Pearly sucks, bro. You're losing time so much.
Dude, I'm on Info Noble. Game 3, my main searcher cuts my life points.
Okay, so
old man or something. Get life points back.
So my wife has a comment on this, right?
That's what I mean.
And she feels that with this comment that was made by Flamingo, she does feel that there should be like divisions within this time span. If depending on your experience in the game and all that, if you were like a lower tier player just starting out, then this time the time amount should be like more lenient. Whereas if you are more a pro player, it's not like you know the rules already, you know how the stuff works. You are like facilitated into the game already, so you shouldn't. So if, for instance, we currently have, I think, what's the allotted time, like 10-20 seconds per action or something?
Interaction, yeah.
Seconds, yeah.
And that is for quote unquote experienced / pro players, right? Whereas what she's saying is that when you're a beginner just coming into the game or coming back into the game, learning all this new mechanics, the allotted time should be a little bit longer to like and go, okay, thinking I want to do 1, 2, 3 without your opponent going charge, slow play, or
listen,
that kind of thing.
I feel like the tables mechanic with the rankings sorts it naturally. You'll just find yourself down at table 20 where they're not so strict.
Yeah. If you noticed, actually, like I think there's like a pattern, right? Especially like losing round 1 of an event is so daunting because I promise you, losing round 1, you're gonna kind of go against the players that. It's weird because as soon as you start losing round 1, you start to go against either the rogue decks, and your trajectory up is just now sort of thrown off. Whereas, like, if you win round 1, you continue winning from there. If you win in the early games, you kind of know what you're gonna face as you go up. But then losing the round 1 and continuing, you're kind of just facing the level under, and a lot of those people sometimes don't have their stuff figured out yet. Or, you know, they haven't got everything they need, or they're still figuring out some of their lines of play, which is understandable. You know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a very complex game. So I'm not going to expect everyone to know everything within a few seconds, you know?
And we don't all have the same level of commitment to the game. You know, a lot of people play in a casual capacity. And as
so
you
I don't think... Sorry. I don't think a then should be then the lower level or the new player getting more time. I think it should be then judges maybe being a little bit more lenient to the new player to allow him time to get used to. Whereas if he knows the players are more experienced, come on, you can't slow play. You know exactly what your cards are doing. You can't sit and think for 30 seconds to activate. I don't know, brand fusion or something. You know exactly what you're doing.
Personally know every player.
I think it depends for the event, hey? So I think that a more professional event, they wouldn't be more lenient because you can't be. You know, there has to be.
I also think that's where locals come in.
Yeah.
Go to locals, guys. If you're at home watching this and you haven't been to locals,
go to locals.
Yes, Kyle.
I know I don't go enough. But I love Nexus. I'm just busy.
You must come to locals.
Kyle must practice what he preaches, yeah.
Shut up! I
always go to locals when I show up there.
Listen, I have a lot of investments in this game. That investment just happens to not be at Nexus. I will say, Nexus is the only locals I go to. I went to AI once, I was like, nah. Stone Dragon's not my shit, no offense. If I'm gonna go, I'm going to Nexus. So you guys have my heart, I just don't
I
have
will
time.
say AI has a lot of the control players.
I also find it's a little
AI
bit
loves control.
That makes sense.
Hmm.
Controller, yeah, but that's interesting as well because it's a different strategy. It's a different thing to immerse yourself in. But it's a different player experience. I find every locals has kind of its own energy, if you understand.
Yeah, definitely. I know a lot of people, like, I don't know if you've ever gotten asked this, but a lot of people always question, what kind of player are you? Are you like a control player? Are you combo player? A lot of people actually really thought I'm a control player, but I actually started off the game playing combo. Surprisingly enough. A lot of people are like, oh, you played Altergeist, you should,
I don't know, I think I'm a bit more of a mid-range player in that I'll enjoy my combo strategies.
Everyone loves mid-range though. I think that's like a nice niche spot.
I mean, Mac is neither. Mac is whatever's the most rogue at the moment.
I just play the structure deck at the moment. Have fun with it.
Ahmad is whatever the current incarnation of Brandon is.
I try to be competitive, to be honest, but I think I've got a very long way to go to be there, but I just need to try and learn a lot more. So, for example, I'm not going to be scared to enter a tournament. Like, regionals, I don't care who you are, what you are. Okay. I'll go for it and see where I end up.
I think actually the road might not be, sorry to cut you off, but the road might not be as long as you think, right? I think constantly play against people who are topping tournaments. Constantly play. Don't be scared to ask like some of the top players for advice. Like for example, you guys all know Henku who won the South African Open, right? He was playing for quite a while and he started playing at Porch. Yeah, shout out Henku. He was playing at Porch, right? And then and then he moved down to Stone Dragon, and Stone Dragon became his regular locals, and he started playing against me a lot, and that's where he started like adapting a new style of play, and that's where he learned to start playing like properly, and I think within a year he's become just so insane at the game. Like his Unchained is just absolutely ridiculous. His understanding of how like each card is important and everything is important. You get to learn so much just by playing with some of the top players because they open your eyes to like a new thing of the game. I mean, people with experience. I mean, I've been playing for 8 years, and I remember my first pro player, or at least South African player that I played against was Lungi Takane.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, he was from Cape Town. He was someone who I used to test with a lot. That guy won 2 nationals in a row. Dude. That guy was insane.
I watched the stream when he was playing. Euros. I watched that stream. Dude, it's insane what that man has accomplished in that short amount of time, from going from winning states, Nats, and then all of a sudden going to Euros, and the man is in the top caliber of playing. And it was a couple of years ago, but still, even if you think about it, he was one of the first to actually do it. Right?
Yeah, so he was the person I used to practice with back then. You know, that's who I learned to get good at the game from, and who I learned, like, he didn't like physically teach me, but just like dueling him just helped me understand so much.
Yeah, 100%. You learn interactions, changes.
I remember dueling him one day, and this was after, I think it was after his first nationals win, and then going into his second. I said to him, I promise you one day I'm gonna win a Nats.
Yeah.
And then?
Proceeds to win the next 2 afterwards. Okay. So guys, just before we continue, so we do have a couple of people obviously commenting on what we are saying, and the chat has been going insane. Guys, thank you so much for actually participating in the chat and participating and actually going at each other about what we are saying in just for what
you and we appreciate
just
you.
For what Rob is saying
fight.
And no, not fight, don't no. But also what I would just like to go back to the one comment that was brought up earlier where we were talking about and this is now a couple of like almost 5 minutes back but in terms of the the time allocated to newer players and older players and stuff when you are actually playing locals or whatever the case may be. And I actually want to bring this up because I think it's important to understand also that I think it was about 2 months ago, right? We had 2 new players walk in. We had 2 new players. How's the team lit? Andre and the guys, thank you for following the channel. Thank you for watching, and hope you guys enjoy it. We had about 2 to 3 players walk in and at our locals, and this is something that my wife brought up, is the fact that they walk in as new players, right? So they're not playing meta decks or rogue decks or anything. They are playing structure decks, right? They just bought a structure deck Blue Eyes or a structure deck Cyber Strike or whatever, and they want to come play. And now they're seeing you guys, everyone's playing like all of this combos and what, and the time is going so quick, and everyone's going like, hey, go quick because of time. And then all of a sudden they walked out. We never saw them again.
This
Why?
is back to an age-old discussion, though.
And then I asked them on a private WhatsApp message, like, why don't you guys like? Their response to me was like, dude, we can't keep up with the times. Like, we can't keep up with how fast you guys are playing, and all the competitiveness that you guys have at a locals. Even though when we ourselves try to dial it down even a bit more, just to have it chilled. Right? There's still going to be that 1 or 2 guys that are going to go, no, but, trying to just be the whole. I understand if you're prepping for a Regis. I understand if you're prepping for a OTS event or something like that.
When you see that new player walk in literally like the week before it's happening, you're like, oh,
fresh meat, let's go.
Because everyone's got their like regional ready deck, and they're like, we're here to play. And then
all the heads in the room swivel at once.
What's up with the new guys always buying Cyber Dragon structure decks to start off with?
Because it's one of the strongest like structure decks to actually just pick up like 3 of and do amazing with it. If you add Infinity and Nova, and then you're good to go. It's like
you only need to add an incredible amount of nonsense. I hard disagree.
I think that's one of the worst structures to buy.
Solidly, Cyber Dragon is one of the worst structures to pick up. I will not.
I'm not going to lie to you, and here you can ask Ahmad. We had a boy come into our locals once, right? That time Red Reboot was still a thing, right? The dude was playing a 3 structure deck, Cyber Dragon deck with Red Reboot, and believe it or not, Kyle, you're going to go half of this one. He beat Renier with Red Reboot playing Flunder.
Even the stopwatches right twice a day.
Dude, we went off that day, right? Because we didn't know what was going on.
I never saw that boy again.
This dude just beat.
Making a perfect win streak.
It was his first time coming to locals. It was his first time coming to locals. He beat the top player at locals, and he never comes back.
Can you blame him? He peaked.
Right? Okay. And another thing, just a quick shout out and thank you to Tritron Bucky and D Zombie Dragon for following the channel. I appreciate you guys. Hope you guys like and enjoy the stream. If you got anything to say, please drop it in the comments. We will definitely get to it as soon as we possibly can. All right, guys, let's continue.
Right. Now, Rob, what do you think of the new sets that have dropped? Let's talk Centurion, let's talk Memento, and let's talk...
I don't know how much of an impact that Memento and the others is gonna have, but we obviously, if you look at like the amazing defenders, you always get 3 waves of support of Archetype.
Yeah.
And obviously we know Centurion is already gonna be a threat in the meta.
Yes.
Because it's just like, okay, we're gonna synchro in your turn, that's fine. You know? But
and
literally,
not like Mac, whose goatees will teach fish to synchro summon during
Oh
your
yes,
turn.
teach fish how to synchro summon. Let's go.
I actually love that goatee deck. I always wanted that goatee deck to be really, really good.
Is it just Calamity Lock Turbo with Centurion? Or?
Right now, I think it's Calamity Lock Turbo, but I think when it comes to a point where Calamity could possibly get hit, I think they'll still be decent. But I don't think they're strong enough to deal with.
Yeah, but there's decks that can do it
the
better.
rest of it.
I personally think that there's decks that can do it better.
Yeah,
you know?
like Manadium can do it better. Like, why would you play Centurion when Manadium can do it better? You know?
Exactly. It's like there's a lot of decks that can do it a lot better.
I think Centurion has a better combo line in regards to Calamity locking because it doesn't require as many pieces. Where you know, if you're playing Manadium, it's so long in a combo.
Yeah,
you're gonna run into time games every time.
It does play around more as well, I think.
But the thing is, so we've seen 13 Memento cards. The average archetype is 16 cards, right? We've seen, as far as I know, we've seen 9 Centurion, we've seen 10 or 11 Valmonica, and we've seen 13 Memento. So Memento is almost finished. Valmonica, as much as Zane likes it, is not making an impact. But I think Centurion has the capability of popping off.
I mean, look at what happened with Amazing Defenders. Like, Valmonica could be the Makanko of the thing. You know, Makanko wasn't popping off until recently. I think so. You just need someone to figure it out. Like the dude that made top with the Ken and Jen and Isolde and going off like that. Like I've seen now Makanko lists making Baron first turn and then full synchro combo and playing Dear Bolstar and things like that. You know, because the Sinful Spoils is probably the most insane engine that's come out in a while. Dear Bolstar Sinful Spoils, like that is one of the best. Just it's like this, like Age of Overlord. I know we're talking about the most recent set, but Age of Overlord is probably one of the best engine sets that's come out in a while.
Yeah, it's
like the amount of engine. Like there's no good decks in there, but the engines, oh my god, they are so good.
I think it was a really cool power creep. I mean, anything immediately that could play it but wasn't playing it was immediately irrelevant.
Yeah, like I think the one thing I like about the new set is the Christia. That's what I'm happy about. Like there's nothing that really, I think out of the new set, like for me personally, like Centurion doesn't call me. It's a really cool. I like the theme of it. It doesn't call me. Funny enough, the Valmonica I think looks the most coolest in that set. Like if anything from that set I would pick up is the Valmonica. And I know it hasn't seemed like it, but I've always picked up things based on their theme and how they look.
Shout out Zane.
Like when I picked up Sword Soul, like the reason why I picked up Sword Soul was because I loved Yang Zing back in the day, and I had my ulti Baxias, my ulti my ulti Yazi, like that was my favorite deck back in the day. And the reason why I picked up Tier is because the second deck that I played competitively was Mermails, and like water was always like the water was like always. I loved like when I started the game, right? When I started, I remember I went to get my first structure deck, which was an Atlantean structure deck, which did nothing even if you bought 3.
Yeah,
it was bad.
did absolutely nothing.
No way, that was my
Right?
first structure deck as well.
Right?
You're talking about Yan Zing. I've got a question for you, right? Because you're saying you were playing Yan Zing and all that. What was your thoughts when they unbanned Denlong?
Were you at the Nationals?
This man was going insane.
I think the entire hall could hear me. Like I personally believe they had to delay the round not because of the load shedding, but because of me losing my shit.
I think the super heavy players were crying out.
I was just about to say that, Rob. You remember that? Second last round of States 2023 banlist drops.
I remember that. That was like insane.
Denlong opened up so many degenerate plays as per the usual.
I immediately shouted, "It's been too dang long!" Like that thing was a petition on my channel for ages.
And then the video that came out afterwards, shortly, it was just cherry on top.
Also, I must put a hashtag unban Chaos Ruler, please.
I would love that thing banned, but that thing is too broken.
No, listen.
Bring it back for
The
Chaos,
rest of
bro.
you
I want to play it in Chaos.
The rest of you who podcast with me every week know what I'm about to say. But Rob, you get to experience my opinion for the first time. Free my man Azatoth. There is nothing he does that collectively worse.
Yeah. Quiet down.
Master boys. It's the same thing.
No.
Rob, question. Maybe too
I
early.
did not side with Mac.
Maybe too early.
No,
Panda's prediction. What do you think is going to be hit?
Very early, but
I think they're gonna go for tier. Again,
yeah, I think so too.
Mostly because I think mostly because like even though Tier Element hasn't won anything, they've topped a lot of events, and a lot of people are siding hard for it.
Yeah.
And I will say like Shifter is insanely good against certain decks and it's good against tier, but I think if you just side the Bastios, you should be fine.
You should be fine, yeah.
But like I think the fact that we have to hard side for tier, that's gonna be something that's gonna get hit.
Okay.
I do think Calamity is in the firing range. I think that's something that we're
I'm
gonna look
laughing.
out for.
I'm laughing so hard right now because Andre is putting here in the chat. Centurion is waifus in machines. It's gonna sell regardless.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
I'm laughing so hard at that right now. Like, and then also before you continue, Rob, sorry to interrupt you, but to just get to this one as well, which I think I agree with. Flamingo says called by to 2.
No.
I've had whole discussions about this. I don't think so. I actually agreed. Mac convinced me otherwise. Mac, would you like to explain your reasoning? Because I agreed. And then I'll give you a chance.
Going second for it.
So, Kyle, you're gonna hate me, but I flip-flopped on my opinion regarding that.
Come on!
I've decided I think called by needs to go to at least 2, and potentially limit crossout to 2.
You betrayed me.
Semi-limit. I know that's a horrible take, but I think the Bestials need harder hits now.
No, stay away. Leave
And
my
I
Bastials.
think Shifter needs to go to 1, boys.
Ooh.
Let the ones play their Shifter, let it be stuck to their hand, but
That one.
limit it to 1.
They can
Make
small
it
roll
the
it
stacky one.
Dude, yeah, honestly, come on, just run
And
small.
small.
and then never use it.
And then never use it.
But yeah,
Small in your hand with small wall.
Alright, Rob, continue.
I don't think Quad by will go to 2 because going second is already very difficult. And here's the thing, right? A lot of hand traps are built to beat combo decks, right? These hand traps, and a lot of the big hand traps can't even be stopped by Quad by anyway, Nibiru and stuff. But in these combo decks, you need more than one hand trap to stop them. One hand trap is not enough for a combo deck.
Dude,
right?
I have
you
a
need
story
at least
about
2.
that.
And if you're sometimes even combo decks can play through 2 hand traps, and literally still end on 2 negates or something, right? And I think it's that sort of power creep, and the called by just makes it that much harder.
Yeah.
The fact that you're like, okay, it's already hard enough to just open the hand trap, like, oh, I've got it. And then you still get called by it, and then it's like, okay, well, that didn't matter anyway, and now I've got 4 cards less.
Yeah.
And now he's
anyway.
going to set up 3 negates, 4 negates, and I
Anyway,
still can't break his board.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so just to coming back to the chat, because I'm trying to get as much of the comments of the chats in.
No, that's brilliant. I think it's a really good part of the podcast.
As we go along, because I don't want to leave anyone out for too long, and the Lord Grim has dropped. But it says here, the Zombie Dragon, first time in chat, says
Welcome.
That banless drop in the middle of Nats was insane. I remember the whispers in the darkness of load shedding, and then us tripping over ourselves trying to find Rob to tell him that Denlong was unbanned.
I think I had
You're
3
like
people
2 tables
ranting
across
me.
from me, Rob.
And then also, just before we continue, thanks to James for following the stream. I hope you enjoy it. We hope to see you more often. And then also, I do have a story about called by as well, which is a funny one, a very funny one, and I'm going to wait until Ahmad is back on the stream 100% when I tell the story, because we had we had an incident at Comic-Con Cape Town in March, April, right? We were playing the Yu-Gi-Oh tournament and whatnot, and then Josh was playing against Rage Raptors, right? And Josh went. The guy did something, and then Josh went imperm, and the guy went called by
On the imperm.
on the imperm.
He needs to be banned.
And then he goes, and then Josh tells him, but you can't call by the imperm. The dude proceeds to call the judge.
My guy, it's not in the graveyard. I don't know what you want to call.
Right.
It's not in the grave.
Judge explains the story and goes, okay, cool. He continues play. Then Josh proceeds to go nub, and the guy goes imperm.
How shady am I allowed to be? Because I'm refraining. I'm trying to be a nice human being.
I know we all trying to be nice right now. And dude, if you are in the comments or watching the stream, I'm sorry, but it was cuck funny. Respect.
Listen,
Over there.
But
the ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
mind you,
Speaking of
mind you, at one stage we were all there trying to activate cards when it wasn't supposed to be activated, or just trying to do something to figure out how the game works. Ashing the draw phase.
You wanted to ash something when it was summoning from the extra deck.
So
I draw for turn, does it resolve?
no, we really had someone. We really had someone at our locals asking that, can you ash the draw phase?
No, man, the real play is to roll it.
Oh my god.
Oh, what was the other one? Can you?
Comic-Con,
Yeah, Ahmed, go for it.
Comic-Con is coming down in Cape Town next year. I think it's end of April till 1st of May. It's a 5-day event.
You're going as Elubo.
I am going as Bastille Elubo, obviously. There is going to be a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. There's a 5-day pass available as well for like $5.50 on Black Friday special for 5-day pass.
Must represent.
I think we, as much as the remote duels guys, if you guys can, come down to Cape Town.
Yeah, if I'm available.
That would be a nice thing to like mission down as like a group.
Yeah, Rob.
Yeah.
We must look at it closer to the time. I think it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There's apartments close by as well. Man club for like a 5-night thing. Get it working. It's good work.
Smash it. You know, teach all these Cape Town people how to play because they're always talking cock about us.
Exactly. Come down. The competition say I'm coming up with December.
Does Cape Town talk gack about us?
Like the
You
thing
have
is,
no idea.
no. So here's
no idea.
the thing, right? So here's the thing. A lot of our old players, and it's not talking cuck about the Josie players or the Gauteng players.
Pure is about to talk cock about the Jersey players.
No. It's talking about the ex Cape Town players that go to Josie to go pick up free wins at the locals or something like that.
So take it if you wanted to talking cock. That's how I'm coming out.
Like a lot of the time.
I was still topping at Cape Town when I was bad.
But still, you see, that's the thing. That is the thing. It's like a lot of the time people go like, yeah, Josie players are bad, and Josie this, and these players are bad. But you don't understand. There is so many players. Like a lot of the time, and you guys can tell me I'm talking through my ears or whatever. But meta players in general, right? Meta players in general or top tier players in general are not the ones that really show themselves off at the locals or within their little community. They're always the one chilling in the corner, just checking out their cards, reading their cards, making sure that everything is cool, deck building or whatever. And when playing a locals, they're just testing out like basic combos, right? Not even top tier combos, just basic.
Yeah, I mean, how often have you seen like Pranesh at like table 8 or whatever? He's just vibing.
just vibing, right? Whereas when you get the newer / rogue players that playing the non-meta, non-competitive decks, and they're like, yeah, but I never win a game. I'm like, okay, why don't you ever win it? Because I don't want to spend money on staples. Like, okay, then why are you complaining?
Exactly, it's part of the game.
Like we had okay, so here's a scenario, right? We had 2 players at our locals, okay? Not gonna name drop anyone, but if you are watching the stream, we can take it up at Friday or Saturday at locals. Come see me. But here's the thing, right?
Catch me outside, how about
Like
it?
they said, Yu-Gi-Oh is too difficult. They'll rather go and play MTG. After, right? Hear this. This is now what? Is it now 6? Is it now 6 months ago, Ahmad? It's almost 6 months now, no?
6.5 months ago.
Yeah.
6.5
The
months
one
ago.
was playing Marinces, which was at the time one of the better decks to play, and the other one was and is still playing Branded. Then they go, no, but it's you guys are too competitive, and the Yu-Gi-Oh is too competitive to get in and too expensive. Yet they proceed to go buy a 6,000 rand Magic the Gathering booster box. Mind you, out of one booster box of Magic the Gathering, you can probably build like 2-3 decks. Mind you, right?
Okay, I'm just interrupting you, usually. I want each of us to cycle here. Rob first. Get back to me at the end. I actually have some opinions here.
No, of course. I'm gonna show you gonna have opinions, because we're all gonna have opinions about that. Because we have those players at all of our locals. We have those players that...
No, I mean potentially controversial opinions.
Yeah, we have those players that go, I don't want to play meta decks because this so and so and so, or I don't want to play this deck because staples is too, or the cards are too expensive. Mind you, the cards are $1 each. And so what's your expensive? No, 100 rand is too much. Okay, I understand that. I understand that, but do you have trade fodder? So let's trade for it then. That's the argument that I have. If you don't have the money to pay for staples or to pay for any card that you want, then trade for it. If you don't even have trade fodder or cards that people don't want or whatever, there's always some dude at your locals or wherever that will go, what, just to help you out, give me that, and I'll give you the staples or whatever that you require. And we all like that.
Yeah, also even like if you look at a lot of local events, like I've even opened up to myself to this, is that like if you're playing in a local event, there's a lot of pro players who will be like, yeah, I've got a deck, you can play it for today,
I mean, Rob's told me on how many occasions, if I ever want to come through and play something, he's got me, he's got my back, just let me know. So
yeah, of course,
and
that's
like,
the thing.
it's just that thing of like, and it's not just like about, and don't make it be a pride thing of like, no, I want to play my own deck. It's like, I'm giving you the deck so you can do well, so you can win more packs, so you have more chance of getting more things,
getting the better stuff.
Because a locals, like, as it's a nice fun place for us to experiment, and yes, you get more packs, but like that's a nice time to help out the newer players, to get them to do well,
Of
to
course.
give them the confidence, because every new player's first goal is like I want to win a locals.
Of course. Okay, so Andre here with Team Lit saying in the comments, there is no duel you can't win with Branded. Hey, I beg to differ. Then he proceeds to say, you probably didn't practice enough at that point. Right?
He's right.
He's right. He's right. Then he also goes on and saying, buying good cards don't make you good. Again, he's right.
Right.
Right? Then again he says, meta decks allow you to make 1 or 2 mistakes, but a well-practiced role player is enough.
Agreed.
I agree.
We've seen this with how well he's done with Dino consistently.
Yeah.
I agree.
Consistently.
I agree. And how many times on stream for the last 3 weeks did we say this? It is not about how expensive your deck is or how many cards you have in your deck that cost you so many because of this type. It is your skill as a pilot. Right?
No point playing 12k for a Cashtira deck and one player.
I mean, look at again, I'll bring up Josh, right? I'll bring up Josh for instance. He's such a experienced and well-versed player that you will rock up to locals with Burning Abyss and win. But then at locals is Branded, Sprite, Dragon Link.
It's your understanding of the game.
Shocks, whatever else there is. And as you say there, I do agree with what you are saying, Rob. It is the understanding as a pilot of the game and how the game operates.
Okay, but back to the question about Magic. Look, I have a friend who plays Magic these days more than he plays Yu-Gi-Oh! I've mentioned him before. But when I play against him and he wants to pick up his old deck, there's just... I feel bad. Because I'm too used to... Sorry, my echo is...
No, it's fine. Don't worry about the echo. It's all good.
All right. I feel really bad. Because I can't switch it off. You know, he wants to play a turn here, let's have fun, what's going to happen? I'm too used to focusing, strategizing. And by the time, you know, he wants to start playing, the duel's done, it's finished. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. Like, you kind of get to a point of the game where you can just kind of like autopilot these combos.
Yeah.
But then it's kind of, it's the intricacies that get you, you know? And it's at that point, like, when you see those lines... where you're like, do I give this guy a chance or not? You think to yourself, how disrespectful is it that I give him a chance? Am I respecting him enough by
or am I being condescending?
Or am I being condescending? Yeah, of course. And that's the thing, man. It's like there's so many times when and I'll bring up the local scene again because I love bringing up the local scene because there's always players at our own locals that doesn't get enough recognition for pitching up every week, even though they don't do as well as in their minds they think they would do because they're playing against meta decks and complaining about the meta decks they play against and the staples and I don't have this card and I don't have that card, but they're still pitching up to play and to take part and to do whatever, right? But if it is not for those players, for those kind of players, we as quote unquote meta players won't get better.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's also the thing is like a lot of the times to get better, getting better is not about going to locals every week.
Yeah,
you need to go to your top players of your locals, like the people who you think are good, and just go and sit with them.
Just
They're
sit with
willing
them.
to speak
Just sit
to
with
you,
them.
you know?
Yeah.
Just sit with them and speak. Ask them for a duel, and even ask after the duel. Just be like, "Hey, is there anything I could have done better?
Yeah,
or was
there we go.
There we go. Know, that's very important, and I think that's the best way. And I think Triton Bucky can like attest to that.
Yes.
I think he's got like stories where he can tell
he
you
just
about that,
he just messaged on the chat now for, and I think this is more towards what you are saying right now, and he says like understanding the game is more important than rocking up with a super expensive meta deck. True as
exactly
fuck, that, right? And then he says if you get a good understanding or good at understanding the game, the more expensive cards that are good makes your deck ceiling higher.
Higher, yes.
Right?
Exactly.
And then
hit the nail on the head.
Flamingo, for Rob, this is more for you. Flamingo asks, how much for dueling lessons?
I don't charge for that.
hey!
Just message me.
If we no, don't come and give away freebies here.
We'll be the intermediary.
Yeah,
don't worry, Rob.
Don't come and message freebies here. Like, okay, Flamingo, if you want dueling lessons, either message Kyle or myself. We will then put you in a thing. But yeah, we're not giving away freebies on stream. Yeah, I am so sorry. Which puts me in a perfect pun or perfect segue to what I want to mention going forward, right? Going forward on the stream, before we continue with the rest, and there's one more comment I need to read from one of the chats over here, is that myself and Carl have spoken over the last couple of weeks and how we can make the stream better. And this is more for our followers and the people in chat at the moment. And we are planning on launching, once we have finalized all our logistics and all the artworks and stuff, we are planning on launching a Team Remote Duels merch store, where you can buy Team Remote Duels merch as well as other things. Also, we are planning, and I'm going ahead of time by saying this, but we are planning on launching our own version of TCG Player for South Africa. We are still
It's all very work in progress.
It's a lot of work in progress. Don't kill me for it. Just do remember, guys, that again, our platform is not going to be the be all and end all of this situation. Your vendors are still the number one go to. Support local. Always. We will always tell you support local. And all
buy
of
from
that.
Andre, buy from Chaden, buy from your local OTS shops.
Buy from your local vendors. We will be.
Come by to Stone Dragon, say hi.
Come by to Stone Dragon, say hi.
If you guys are ever in Cape Town or in Somerset West, come by to the Warren and come and say hi there as well. You will meet all of us there.
I haven't played in the Warren in ages. Oh my god.
So we will be So there's a lot of things in the making. We are thinking, myself personally, I am thinking of releasing the Team Remote Duels website pretty soon, as well as other things, like I said, merch. We are also going to be doing and focusing on custom playmats. So if you guys have ideas for playmats that you guys want to have printed and you guys have the artwork, you can submit it to us and we will have it printed. Also, I personally have secured this, and this is probably the first time Carl will be hearing of this, and you will probably go and tell me afterwards, like, what, you didn't tell me of this? I have secured also, when our site goes live, canvas printing for your own custom prints of cards and stuff that you want, right? So not just A4, but A4, A3, custom prints of canvases of stuff that you want. And I know this is a long pun of stuff that or stuff that you want, but it's not just canvassing. There will be other things as well. But once the website goes live, I will share all the details and you guys can have a look at that. Then, Slain TCG. Yes, go for it.
Okay, so we recently hosted our first tournament in conjunction with Team Eclipse, and it was a fantastic success. We had 13 players. Yeah. I am looking at hosting a Dueling Book tournament at the beginning of December. I've already spoken to Andre about it. If you like Dueling Book, come through. It's going to be lacquer. We will do another Edo Pro tournament moving forward, and probably a remote duels tournament afterwards.
I think Kyle, on that, take that poll that you'd made, and because we had an EDO one recently, now we're going to do a Dueling Book one. Take that poll, take the poll that we had, and see what was next on the list, and do that specific platform next.
Yes. Yeah, that makes sense.
Right?
Then we can cater towards that.
Then we cater to
something.
Then we cater to everyone. Then in the comments here, Slain TCG says, I actually agree with that respect factor, where it says, every time I versed Rob at Stone Dragon, be it in practice or during a locals, he always went hard against me, but that in a turn helped me to improve. Had he given me a chance all the time, a person would end up being used to an expecting of a chance. So what he's saying is that if you are going like I'm gonna just be you can just do whatever, like just do, and I'm chilled, I'm not gonna and now you as the next player that's playing against a person, you expecting the next guy that you play against to do exactly the same, right? That is my take from what he's saying. And look, dude, you can't expect the next guy to go like what your previous opponent goes like, no, just chill, and interrupt there. Like earlier on I played with Tyler and Simon, and Tyler wanted to test out some decks. Like, he wanted to test out some combos, and I was like, you know what, dude, practice your combos, because we are doing a remote duel or whatever. Practice your combo, figure out your combo, whatever. But the next guy might not be as lenient, right, or forgiving, right? You will go like, no, you can't do that because that card's not supposed to be there. I will use an example from that duel where Tyler by accident put his first link monster that he made in the normal monster zone instead of in the EMZ, right? Instead of in the EMZ. So the next duelist or the next person won't be as lenient to say like, dude, just move the card up to your EMZ and we go from there, right?
Yeah, especially for some context, Tyler has picked up Infernoble as well.
I know. I lost against it 3 times.
Yeah, so in Infernoble, cycling your Charlemagne's is really important with your zoning.
Yes.
If you zone wrong, you stuff up your whole combo.
Yes. Then we've got in the comments, before we continue, again, I'm just going to read through all the comments quickly here. It says, Flamingo with a flamethrower says, I want to play Yu-Gi-Oh, but our locals been quiet for a while. That's all. Then Andre says, can I filter by Indian prices versus colored prices? Bruh, I'm gonna tell you now.
There was someone in the comments that said you owe me a Gatsby. I'm like, that's a
us.
Cape Town
Yeah,
player.
that's
if
us.
anything.
That's us. That because normally we go. Andre is charging, and he can love me for it, hate me for it, because I tell him this all the time. Every time I see his price, like, bro, what is your pricing? It is a troll times exchange times Gatsby times
Oh man.
plus tax minus Indian spice.
Does anyone remember value added tax?
And then again, also from Flamingo saying support Andre because we don't have local OTS shops. I do agree. You know, dude, everyone and anyone can say whatever they want about Andre. All right. And this is not.
And hopefully we will have him on eventually.
Yeah, we will have him on eventually. He must just message me. The thing is, we're not, and I'm going to say it straight as it is factual, we're not ass kissing here right now. Alright? We're saying this because he has literally done well for the community that he is in at the moment to open his store, to host events, to host other things, and grow his business from just being a local WhatsApp vendor by selling cards or whatever to being one of the biggest vendors that we currently have in SA, right? Comparable to our local stores like you guys with Dragon Town, AI Fest, with us Sword and Board, the Warren, etc., right? So a lot of people are hating on Andre because of certain things, right?
What I always say is that say what you want about Andre, like him or not, but if Andre eats, we all eat. You know?
Of course, that's true. If he eats, we all eat. And because and here's the thing. I'm going to ask for a comparison quickly before we continue, and everyone can chip in on this. If you look at our normal Yu-Gi-Oh! Trade group, apart from, let's take the Mirage group, which is Andre's group, out of this. Let's take that out of it, completely out of it. And you only take the Yu-Gi-Oh! Or the YGO free trade group or whatever. Who's the one posting the most on there about selling cards? Every second to every, or 60% or 70% of messages, that's always Andre. Posting this, posting that. Yes, sometimes we don't agree with the pricing. Right? However, this man is a vendor. He has things to cover. Other than the money that he gives out on sets and other things, right? I had the same conversation with our vendor, the Warren. Right, Warren, if you're watching the stream, shout out to you, dude, because you've literally covered us so many times with not just events but other things as well. But and this is what he told me: as a vendor, what do you expect me to do? I know this card in the quote-unquote market between you players is R2, for instance. But does it make sense for me as a vendor that has a store, that has electricity bills, that has water bills, that has this and that, overheads to cover? Does it make sense for me to sell that card at R2? It makes more sense for me to sell it at R5, for instance, so that I can make sure that I cover my bills at the end of the day. Right, and that is where people have the misconception about. Sometimes it really all depends. Like sometimes, not always. Sometimes, where they go like, "Oh, but these vendors are expensive, and the vendors this and the vendors that." Dude, if you don't want to support your vendors, that is your prerogative.
Yeah.
But don't always just want to, unless you're taking it up with your vendor directly and speaking to them in that manner, don't attack them in a public platform, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Like our vendors had so many death threats before because of price support and because of pricing and all of that. It's not their fault.
Yeah.
That's not their fault. The dollar is like 17, 18 rand a dollar, you know? Or Konami pushing up the prices or whatever. It's not their fault.
I will say, people who don't care about prices in Durban, bro. You know how many times I post something, look, with like the general price of like TCG, and then Durban players will just be like, I want that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. I'm like, are you? And then like you said, and then it was like you'll say, for example, like you said 4K, right? I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, send me your bank details. I'm like, bro, what? This guy just.
Same thing. And that's why you always said, like, should I have asked the price?
I've worked in professional businesses that don't pay me that fast, dude. Like,
I think I pulled a Starlight once. It was a Starlight DPE, Power of the Elements.
Power of the Elements DPE, yeah, I was there, yeah.
And immediately posted, I think it was like 5 or 6K or something. And I posted, and immediately Durban dude was like, oh, yeah, give me banking details.
I sold my Starlight Kurikara, dude.
Yeah, guys, just before we continue, sorry, the Jetman, thank you for the follow. I hope you enjoyed the stream. We will probably still be on for a while. Today's stream doesn't have a time limit. We're actually having a lot of fun at the moment. So thank you for the follow. If you have got any comments or anything that you want to say in the chat, please feel free to just drop it there. And then before I need to go, like, I need to bring this up because Andre literally just posted a comment and he says, I think as a store owner.
Before you continue, I'm gonna.
Are you gonna buy
crash
that? Okay, no problem. We do forgive you. We do forgive you. This is what you call eating too much spice and then you want to go sleep. Alright, no problem. We'll see you again, guys. Thank you to Lord Grim, to Ahmad for joining us on the stream, on the podcast. We next week you'll see him again, 8:00 sharp. So if you have any questions for him next week, come prepared. He will be here again. Short.
What you were saying, Yuzi?
Okay, so Andre says here, like, I think
Cheers, guys. Bye.
Cheers. As a store owner, best to give everyone OTS packs. Which what I'm gonna once I get my OTS certification, which is true. Most OTS stores do that, right? Other than other price supports, most OTS stores do that. So he says, so it gives the chance of an ulti to every new player that will come, which is true. So that the new, like, again, at our locals, okay, we have the system which not a lot of people agree with, but currently our players, we don't care really. We have this thing called a picking system, right? So if you are 10 players, then there's 10 OTS packs, and it will all be open. It will be laid out on the table. Right, and then first place gets to choose first, second place gets to choose depending on your standings, that kind of thing. Not everyone agrees with that, but our local scene seems to be fine with it, and it's been like that even before I went there to go and play. Right. I think it was also because a lot of the time you get, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong or right, a lot of the times when you go play locals or any event where there's OTS packs involved, you can lose, you can come dead lost and pick up an ulti or two.
Yeah.
And then the guy that comes first picks up a super. Like, so what
gotten the ulti.
You see,
table 500 has the best luck.
So what dignification was that for the guy that actually played his heart out to win that event?
Yeah.
And
that's why locals are just for fun, dude. That's why locals are where you can fuck around.
Exactly, but a lot of
the thing is, your topper will be here next week again, and he'll have another chance. Your guy who happens for the ulti might not. This might be the only ulti he ever gets.
Yeah. Here's another interesting comment in the chat here, which I resonate with because I've seen a lot of this happen on on our trade groups and stuff, and he says underage prices are high because people make debt. That I understand he needs to increase the prices because people are buying cards that they can't afford. And I resonate with that because why the fuck are you buying cards from a vendor and making the debt if you know you cannot pay that vendor within a week, or if you've made for an agreement for next month, by next month?
And you know who we need to have talk right now?
Okay.
Byron, let's talk about your branded deck.
Yeah. You're gonna talk about the branded.
Byron's been there.
This is when branded players get competitive with each other.
No, it's actually because when I sold my branded deck, that's what he's talking about. And the guy was, he agreed to pay me. I was very lenient with him. Over a couple of months, he was paying 1,000 rand or whatever. And at the time, branded was one of the top decks, and I had the full deck. So it came to about 4-5k altogether. But 3 months later, prices dropped, and then he priced the cards.
And then he wanted to say, "Why are you charging me this?"
Yeah. So there's different takes on different prices and cards, and people don't understand the market half the time about how the prices change, and especially the newer players. This was a guy that was moving to Joburg from Margate or something like that, and he just wanted a good competitive deck to play. And branded was a good segue into topping at locals or something.
And also, I was gonna say for like new players, like I think them pulling good cards is really insane. Because if you pull like an ulti or something, you could literally just get like a good amount of staples that you need. Like it's something that's insanely beneficial for them. Like I've seen players who pull an ulti and then suddenly they walk away with the whole like decently competitive deck. And they go from coming last every locals to be like, hey, I actually won a game today. That literally happened like the last 2 weeks. So it's really awesome to see that.
I mean, there was that new player at Nexus a couple of weeks ago who almost pulled that SP and was able to trade it for, decent stuff. So
I know her. She got a full Marensis core plus all the staples from
amazing
Rarity collection. Yes, she got a playset of Nibiru's, playset of Imperm, playset of Ash, playset of Dark Ruler, playset of Evenly, plus the full Marensis core, plus Kragan, plus goes in matches.
Really
decent. More staples than I do.
Really filled up,
Yeah, and
I should
that's
pull
from
an
pulling
XP.
one card.
and that's coming from imagine you had to start like that, dude. That's so insane. You know how crazy it is. I remember going to locals with my Atlantean structure deck and getting destroyed by full power Necros. The pain,
the pain, and the suffering.
And then my first regionals, I played Aqua Actress Gradle. and
the
and
original
that was
Gradle boy.
And that was just don't tell me about it. And that was when the Monarch structure deck first came out. Yeah, and I didn't face it. That was at the time where Pepe Rulers had the E-ban.
Oh no.
And that was the regionals when Pepe Rulers was out. So yeah, that was my first regional. I remember that, dude. Those, oh my god. Like, people are like, oh yeah, the game's broken now. It's like, you have
no idea.
Half of it. That's does anyone remember when spirals were meta? Like, it's either you opened cherries or lost. If you remember when Zoo was meta, Zoo was 32 out of 32 tops. If you at least tier element, it was never 32 out of 32. There was always either Flunder or Sprite there, right? Zoo was 32 out of 32. There was, if anyone remembers Dark World FTK, Jesse can tell you all about that on a video that's very famous on YouTube. There was Azathoth that was around where you literally made Dark World FTK, but then you couldn't even activate monster effects because they would summon Azathoth on the 5th summon, and then you were locked out.
There was Goki Gumblar hand rip, bro. like the most consistent hand rip probably in the game, even more consistent than Dark World is now with their hand rip. That's with Ken and Jen and talents and thrust and so on and so forth. Like there's been some insane ridiculous things that people have missed, and people are like, oh, the game is so toxic. No, it's actually like, that's why I think a lot of the veteran players are kind of enjoying the game at the moment, because we know what it's like to feel pain. You know, we've been through the ringer. Like we've seen the worst that this game can have.
Yeah. Honestly, it's crazy watching the format change. I mean, I'm from back when Necros was still problematic.
Yeah.
And there's always a terrible deck in the room that makes the game unplayable and unfair. And back in my day, Yu-Gi-Oh was so much better. And
You a boomer?
Yu-Gi-Oh sucked back in the day sometimes.
Do you prefer the diverse format, Win, or do you prefer a tier 1 format?
I don't know really. Like, I think it depends. I like the formats where it's like kind of 3 decks that are the top decks. Those I think are my favorite formats. Like, for example, when our nationals happened in 2022, the top, like after the ban list, the best 3 decks were Branded, Swordsaw, and Flanderies.
Yeah.
Like the formats like that are so cool, and I think we have had like rotations of that, but I think those are really, really fun formats. And I think even now the format is pretty decent, because I mean, yeah, the best decks I think are Unchained, Pearly, and and Rescue Ace. But like there is still a couple of other Tier Elements is like really, really good. I think Tier Elements is it's the sleeper deck of the format, because if you're not prepared for it, you're going to lose to it.
100%. It's still really consistent.
I don't think it's the best deck of the format. I do think in terms of power, Unchained, Rescue Ace, and Pearly are better. But I do think if you don't prepare for it, you're going to lose to it. Which is why it's probably it is 4th on the list.
And the thing is, it's at its most legal in the TCG, you know? It saw how many consecutive Master Duel hits, how many OCG.
Yeah, because I played it in the OTS champs like recently, and the deck is insane. Like, it's terrifying. Like, once you mill that callback, it's like, oh, here we go.
Oh, yeah, we go. Yeah.
And I think we need to start heading towards wrapping up. We've had a few behind-the-scenes issues coming through. Unfortunately, the nature of our country's power grid and other life commitments calling.
It is that.
But as we can slowly wind down, I think it's been a really enjoyable chat. What do you think, Rob? If you could free one card from the ban list, what would you bring back besides Kid Kalos?
Chaos Ruler. Sorry.
I'm gonna be honest. I think Red Reboot.
Oh, really?
I think Red Reboot to 1. Like, as much as I love traps, I think a lot of these Floodgate normal traps, like, continuous traps are fine, right? Like, Tikaboo is fine, Skill Drain's fine, Rivalry is fine, those are fine, because they can be outed with a Cosmic Cyclone. But there's things like D-Barrier, Eradicator, Different Dimension Ground, you know, things like that. These, like, really strong normal traps that just aren't. Okay, here's the thing, right? I understand. I think Red Reboot is an extremely powerful card, and I think the best way to mitigate this thing is give us a hand trap that stops a normal trap.
Yeah. Agreed.
Something that's not Psyframe, what's that thing? Epsilon.
Airline Driver.
Like, give us something that's like not Epsilon, that's able to stop a trap, or at least one trap, you know, because that's what we really need, like something that can just stop a single trap. Because if you play against a full combo deck and they open the D barrier, you lose.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? It's the problem is not the control decks playing those cards, because the control decks need them, and that's okay, because control decks is strong, and it's like if you open the hand trap or you open the hand trap, I understand, right? But the thing is now that like things like Featherstorm, like if you get Featherstorm, you do nothing. Going second, there is no card to stop a Featherstorm.
in the game except Epsilon.
Yeah, you lose.
Yeah, you lose. Yeah.
Right? And I think the game could just be evened out by finding some sort of card that going second allows you to have an answer to these things. And even though, and the thing is, it will be a gimmicky card as well, right? Like, you're not going to keep it in the main deck to stop a normal trap, but it's something you can side. You know, so like where are those, it will add like another dynamic to the game that I feel is good. So as much as I would love Red Reboot to come back to 1 or something, I think we need something different. Because I think Red Reboot is strong, but I think it blows control decks out of the water, and control decks are already not doing anything right now. You know, like Lab has fallen short, Altergeist is not even doing anything. The only control deck that's really doing well and it's more mid-range is Pearly.
I mean, that's even still arguing about.
Yeah.
Like arguable, you know?
Invoked, let's go.
I mean, normal ally is the best deck.
Normal Alistair, best deck, let's go.
Yeah. Some people have been normal summoning Alistair for years.
Exactly.
Might be me sometime soon.
Don't joke, that deck was the first deck I actually topped an event with.
Of course.
Yeah. I topped the LDS with Invoked True Draco. That was my first deck I ever topped an event with. And then I faced Lungi in top 4. And we know how that goes.
That is nuts. All right. I think, that brings us to the end of the evening. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining as always. Mac, appreciate the insights. Yusri, appreciate the venue and facilitation.
Hey,
Byron,
always, man, always.
And Rob, eternal gratitude for coming through and making it a great evening. We loved having you on.
Thank you, guys. It's an
Yeah,
honor.
man,
Really
guys.
appreciate it.
I mean, Rob, seriously, this is probably one of the better streams that we had with someone of knowledge or your caliber of knowledge, at least. That's been on stream, and with everyone in chat just going off the way they did in terms of trying to best one another, either with a comment or just to respond to what we're saying, trying to get it. And also another milestone hit for this specific stream, that for this stream alone we gained a total of 7 followers. Which is insane. Wow, let's make it 8 with Rob joining us here as well on the follow count. So it was almost 10 for this full stream, which is amazing, guys. Everyone, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for your commentary. Thank you for just being here and just listening to us talking a bunch of stuff.
Before we jump out of the stream entirely, I just got a message from Henku, who said he would like to join us as a guest for next week. He's the guy who won at the Comic-Con Africa.
Okay.
Yu-Gi-Oh event.
Sure.
And he kindly requested that Rob join us again as guest. So that he can talk shit about me and
Okay, so
on stream.
So here's the thing. Since Kyle is the coordinator of those kinds of things, organize with Kyle. Kyle will then inform me, and then we'll make it happen. All right. Or maybe not, because I feel like there's going to be like a fight happening here.
Just the
best way. We can drive up engagement.
If any of you have seen Henko and I in public, you know.
So
I'm very excited. Please just remember, link to the YouTube whenever you about to address each other verbally. Just plug the Twitch.
Always. Okay, so Traiton Baki, thank you for that great comment. I do agree with him. It was a great stream. Thank you, Rob, for gracing us with your presence. It was an amazing stream.
Thank you guys for having me.
And for I do need to give a next level shout out to 2 people. Right, number 1, it's Max Woman for bothering him the whole time on stream.
I loved it.
And number 2, you guys might have not seen it on the Discord side of things, but number 2, my wife as well, and for giving her insight into into the stream as well. It actually,
constant behind the scenes help. It wouldn't be possible without it.
dude, it made some for some compelling content, right? Which she also she wants to know, Kyle, when is her stream coming up? Where she's talking about
communication.
Yeah. She's been hammering me the whole time. Please, I do not want to sleep on the couch because of your nonsense and your double booking and your bad booking.
Listen, I am overbooking.
Hey, Josh. So Josh is finally in comments here. We are about to end the stream. We're not talking cack about you. If you were in stream, we were actually talking very gracious and good things about you. All right?
I will say one thing about that is, like, I've noticed when people start talking about you being a good player, be prepared for anyone who gets to that point to get a lot of hate. Because along with like the people that respect you, there's gonna be a lot of people that like aren't fans. And a lot of people are not gonna like your opinions. A lot of people are not gonna like what you say, you know. So just like be able to take that with grace and stuff, and still find it. Like, I won't lie. Like I have had moments where I've fallen short, you know.
Of course.
I think we're people, and we haven't all had the best of times. Like, we've all had our bad sides, and some people have seen my bad side of Yu-Gi-Oh, which every one of us is trying to work on. But yeah.
So just to give you guys some more, like I said earlier on, if you guys joined us midway through the stream or later down the stream, because we are ending soon, if you guys want to watch the VOD again, you guys can find it on my YouTube channel. It will be available tomorrow. So if you go down into the About Us section of Twitch and you click on YouTube, you will find the link there to my YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube, follow, whatever the case may be, follow the Twitch. It is absolutely free. There is a tipping section if you want to support us even further. It's not mandatory. Please do not, like, it's not, I'm not going to be our government and charge you for watching, ne? Not yet. So yeah, it's absolutely free. Please have a go at that and go watch there. Also, as mentioned before, we are currently busy working on our merch store and other things as well, where you can pick up some Team Remote Deals merch going forward. We will let you guys know when that goes live. And then just again, thank you to Rob, thank you to Mac, thank you to Kyle, thank you to everyone that has joined the stream and placed your comments and just had a great time in chat, right? And then just quickly before we end off, here's a couple of other comments here saying Rob took enough crap out of Dota. He won't be bothered by the hate. Hey, I'm an ex-Dota player myself. I understand what that means, so that's quite cool. That's insane.
Memories.
Then we've got Slain TCG saying, yeah, people react differently to things. Should never take anything personally. Also agree, right? Also agree. And then we've got where is it now? I saw a comment here from then we've got Flamingo said we should join Dota. Hey, don't come and pun Dota here on my stream. No. If you want to do that, there's a tip section in the comments down below. Place a tip, even if it is $1. Go place a tip, then you can talk about your puns and like, yay. No. And then is from Mrs. Kusanagi herself. It is her birthday week as well. She was on stream earlier and says, please a shout out to everyone who was part of the stream tonight. All the love to y'all and much appreciated. And this is coming from the Kusi clan. It's not, before you misheard, it's Kusi, ne? K-U-S-I. K-U-S-I.
Are we gonna autocorrect?
I heard Tushi Clan.
That's better.
Autocorrect. K-U-S-I, which is Kusanagi clan, which
I don't want to get you guys banned on Twitch. So.
Hey, Kusanagi. Hey.
Not yet, anyway. Let's get something.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, thanks for everyone for joining us. Feel free to tune in next Tuesday, same time, same place. You'll find us here again, and join us again for episode number 5.
Let's go.
Thanks, guys. Have a good evening, all of you.
Hold on, because Mrs. Kusanagi has a final word of thought. And then I am expected to say thank you to Slain TCG, and this is a direct comment from the missus of the Kusanagi clan. Not sure what I'm saying thank you for, but thank you. Let's go.
Before we end, we can't have a Rob stream without his catchphrase, you know?
Oh, God.
Oh,
Come on,
no.
Rob, you got to give it to us, boy.
Do I have to do the whole intro?
Go for it, Rob. Go for it.
Pick one, man.
For you guys, for the stream. How's it going, everybody? It's Frisbee Moonsong here.
That's good.
Yeah.
Nice one. There we go. Again, thank you, everyone. It's been a pleasure. It's been a ball of a time. I enjoyed that thoroughly. Until next week, where we continue with Team Remote Duels episode 5. Hey, mind you, we're on 4 episodes at the moment. Can you believe it? Most podcasts don't even make it to episode 3. So yeah, again, thank you, everyone. We hope to see you next week. Until next time, cheers. Bye. And see you all again in the chats.
Bye.
Bye.